This 13-year-old footballer has broken one of the most impressive records in history. When you think of football wonderkids, you're probably imagining names like Lamine Yamal or Arsenal's Ethan Nwaneri, both of whom debuted at 15. But they didn't even come close to the record set by Davian Kimbrough. At just 13 years old, Davian became the youngest footballer in history, signing his first professional contract and later breaking the record for the youngest player to appear in a senior match. But before he made history on the pitch, Davian's journey started in a small town in California, and what happened next was nothing short of incredible. Born in 2010 in Woodland, California, Davian was just like any other energetic kid, trying every sport imaginable. His parents, both former college athletes, encouraged him to explore all kinds of activities. They believed he had the physical traits to become an elite athlete, but when he had a football at his feet, something was different. Even as a little kid, Davian was already dribbling through cones in the backyard. His talent stood out immediately, and his parents quickly realized they had something special on their hands. As he grew older, it became clear to his family that Davian's future was in football. They signed him up for the Sacramento Republic Youth Academy, his local club, and even sent him to Barcelona for a few weeks to train at a professional camp. That experience changed everything. When he came back, his love for the game only intensified. By the time he was 11, Davian had already outgrown his age group. Playing as a striker, he dominated defenses and showed the kind of football IQ you'd expect from someone twice his age. That season, he was promoted through 2 age groups and still managed to score 27 goals in 31 matches for Sacramento Republic's U13 team. Coaches were stunned, and scouts from top MLS clubs had already started reaching out to his parents. But this was only the beginning. When the regular American season ended, Davian traveled to compete in the most prestigious U13 tournament in the world, and he didn't just impress. He won the MVP award. That moment marked him as one of the top youth talents in all of America. On the flight home, Davian made up his mind. He knew he was meant to be a footballer. Together with his parents, he decided to double down on the dream. From that point on, he would be homeschooled, freeing up more time to train, develop, and chase history. And that decision has paid off. At just 13 years old, Sacramento Republic, the club he'd grown up in, were left with no other choice in order to beat the top clubs competing for him, made a bold move. They offered him a professional contract. It was unprecedented. No player in U.S. history had ever signed a pro deal that young. Suddenly, Davian Kimbrough wasn't just a promising kid. He was officially a professional footballer. And it just got better. On October 1st, 2023, playing against Las Vegas Lights, Davian made his senior debut in the 87th minute. He had just become the youngest player ever to appear in a senior professional match in the U.S. at only 13 years, 7 months, and 13 days old, obliterating the previous record by months. And it didn't stop there. Shortly after his debut, things got even more serious. Davian, who is of Mexican and African-American heritage, was being pulled in 2 directions. The U.S. Soccer Federation had already kept an eye on him through youth camps, but the Mexican Football Federation made a bold move. They called him up to their U16 national team. It was a big statement. Davian became one of the youngest players ever to be invited to train with a national team at that level. And now, with his dual eligibility, he's got a huge decision to make down the road. And while it is still unclear which nation he's going to represent, 2 years after his debut, his future never looked brighter. Standing at 5'11", or about 180 centimeters, at just 15 years old, he already has the kind of physicality that sets him apart from most kids his age. And with that, his dream of moving to a top European club feels closer than ever.